So how are you
Second
today? And
time's a
thank you for
charm, right?
tuning back in with me and redoing this whole thing. Um, so everybody, we are tuned in to the Boss Women Network podcast. I have Dr. Danielle Griff here with me. We're going to talk about everything that she is doing. She also has a book called Somatic Exercise Made Simple. It's a 28-day program, right?
Right.
Yes.
20, health and wellness, mental health and wellness.
All right. Well, tell us who you are and everything you do, and then we can go into your book.
Yes. My name is Dr. Danielle Griffin, and I am a holistic wellness coach specializing in helping busy people alleviate stress and anxiety and overcome pain from grief and trauma.
Over pain and grief and trauma. Speaking of that, I remember reading about something that you said that you started your journey from you were dealing with grief and trauma yourself. You say your dad and your father-in-law passed away along with you being pregnant at the same time. So
Right.
how was that transition? How did you go from that into to your business now? And how did that persuade you to go into that field?
Yeah. I mean, it was a couple years process. All of that happened over COVID, in 2021. We lost my father-in-law first, and then within a couple months after that, my father was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, stage 4 pancreatic cancer, and then he was gone shortly after that. Um, I had I already had my son before they passed, my second son, but dealing with, COVID, the stresses of, being at home, uncertainties of work,
Yeah.
the illnesses of my father-in-law, and then shortly finding out about my father. It was very stressful, navigating family life. My mom is still here, but that was very stressful. They lived in Arizona, so kind of the back and forth
Hmm.
during that time, helping her navigate, end of life for him,
Man.
um, and what her life was going to be like after him, was a process. Um, and so it was just a very dark time for me. Um, Recovering from the pregnancy, I had postpartum depression. I was struggling with my weight. I had preeclampsia from the pregnancy, and afterwards, my blood pressure wasn't coming down, probably because of
All of
all
the
the
stress.
things
Yeah.
going on. But at the time, when you're in it, you don't always recognize that. Um, and then that in itself is another stressor and add like, okay, now my physical health and well-being is at jeopardy as well, and trying to figure out how to best take care of myself when having to take care of everybody else as well. Um, and so eventually I found yoga. I was already had practiced yoga, but I went deeper into it because other forms of activity like weightlifting was hard on my body. Like the recovery time, coming out of the pregnancy, my body was just like not responding well, and
Hmm.
just really wasn't understanding why. And so yoga was the most kind of gentle that allowed me to kind of push myself mentally and physically. I could do more body weight exercises. And once I saw my mental health and physical health starting to rebound a bit, I became a yoga instructor. I realized I wanted to be able to teach and help people on that journey as well. And then through that, that's where I learned about somatics. That's where I learned about hypnotherapy, um, mindset work, and using that to help heal the body. Um, and just becoming certified and educated in all those things so that I can share that knowledge with other people to help them as well.
That's a lot. So through all that, are you married, right? Did that
Right.
take a toll on your marriage or anything like that, going through all those different things?
Oh yeah. Definitely. Because we were both grieving, right, in our
Mm.
in our own ways. Didn't always want to talk about the grieving process. I would ask him like, are you okay? It's been this long, you haven't talked about it, or like it's your dad's birthday, and you're like not saying anything.
Oh, yeah,
And like, yeah, I'm fine. Why would, it's like just being
right.
sure with each other for, the same things we both would try to ask and try to be there for one another, but also both in our own ways, like closing off, but
Mm.
distracting ourselves. And then it would translate in our relationship as being short or irritable, isolated.
I could
Um,
imagine.
yeah. And
Gosh.
it was also impacting our relationship with our kids as
Oh
well.
no.
It's um, not wanting to,
Young kids as well.
right? Yeah. Uh, well, now I have a 14-year-old and the other one's 4 now, but being able to show up for them fully and like
Mm.
engage, our very different experience from when our 14-year-old was, a toddler versus our current
Yeah, yeah.
toddler.
Well, at
Uh,
least both of them weren't toddlers at the same time,
right.
because that would be a juggle right there. I actually had two small ones at the same time and going through postpartum. I didn't finish the first postpartum. I had another one um, 3 years later. So I was just coming out of that and went back in. So just imagine going through that and all of that at the same time. I could just imagine that to be just chaotic. So
Right.
even for you to be going through that, that's so much to handle at the same time. So was working out, did you like bury yourself into work in order to kind of come out of it first? Like what was your first field of work and did you bury yourself into that before you got into this?
So I also have another business, a travel business. And so I was buried in work. And because with it being COVID, initially nobody was traveling, but travel rebounded and everybody wanted to travel, as well as, just trying to rebuild my business. I lost business during that year. And
Mm,
so I was working really hard to revive and grow my business at that time. And so, that in itself was an added stress.
I bet.
Instead of, taking the time to like understand the direction I wanted to grow, the direction I wanted to grow with my family, all the things that probably would have normally occurred, it was just kind of like a mad rush to get things done. And so on top of the emotional stressors, I had the work stressors and I was just constantly working, working, working to get things done and, you know, juggling schedules.
Mm,
Still try when I can, still trying to show up for our kids, still trying to do all the things and just losing sleep as a result of it. And just, but not when you're buried in it, right? Not seeing like, why do I feel this way? Why am I so tired? Or why why is my blood pressure still not coming down?
oh wow.
And
That's
so it
that's
wasn't,
dangerous with your
yeah,
blood pressure.
right. And so it wasn't until that point where, my husband's like, you're looking old, you're tired and run down. What's going on? Where I finally had the realization I'm doing something wrong.
Mm,
I'm I'm not working smarter, I'm working harder and I need to figure out how to flip it. And that's really where I dug into my emotional and physical well-being and my mindset change and utilizing the resources that I had to get things done, to make things work. And it wasn't until like I really dug into the hypnotherapy where I was able to have that shift, get a restful night's sleep, heal my body with the somatics, and still get things done without losing sleep over it.
without the burnout. So you
Right.
do not recommend burying yourself into your work to kind of get rid of the pain of things, to not focus on it. That is not
No.
recommended.
It always seems like the easiest thing, like, oh, I'm just going to distract myself, but disconnecting yourself from how you feel doesn't take it away.
It
We have
doesn't.
a conscious mind and we have a subconscious mind. And even if your conscious mind isn't actively thinking about it because you're focused on work, your subconscious is still at work. It's still in the back of your head. It's still stressing you out. It's still making you feel pain. It's still causing you to lose sleep. It's not getting better by you distracting yourself. You do
Mm.
have to deal with whatever emotional situation, stressful situation you're going through in order to release the pain.
So you're recommending actually diving into it and getting down to the bottom of it. You first went to therapy and then dove into this or dived into that.
Um, no, actually, this came before therapy, um, but I did do both. So
Mm,
this helped release a lot of the stress, the tension. It helped me get better sleep, which that was huge. That was probably one of the number one things that was a source of my pain and blood pressure issues, my body not having time to physically recover. So the
mm,
Somatics gave me a resource to help me sleep better, to help me relieve my mind of the stressors, or just to help me relax. Because sometimes, the stressors are going to be there, but it helped me relax enough that I could sleep. I wasn't waking up in the middle of the night. um, you know, then also going to bed earlier. I was
mm.
on this kind of schedule, staying up till like midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning, and then trying to go to sleep, and then still waking up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning because my
Your
mind is
brain's
still
still
constantly
working.
right.
Yeah, that is something. So would you recommend somebody to actually go through therapy to work things out and do this, or do you think they can make it without therapy? I know it's each person is different, but do you actually feel like you can make it without therapy if you do these exercises? Because a lot of people don't like to go to therapy.
Yeah, I think it depends on your situation. If
Hmm.
you recognize that, okay, all this is internal, this is me, I'm putting these own pressures on myself. Um, or like even if it's family, some family issues, like I just have a lot of family stuff going on, but I just need to learn how to manage my stress.
Hmm.
This is definitely the tool to do it. If you're having relationship conflicts, and you're not sure, like, is this a me issue or is it a them issue, sort of thing, and you need to have those conversations with a non-biased person to give you that
Hmm.
feedback, like,
Hmm.
hey, you need to look at yourself, or, it does sound like it could be them.
Oh, okay.
Once you determine that this is a me issue, like my thing is we have control over ourselves, our mental, physical well-being, emotional well-being. We can control all of that. We can't control other people, what they say or do, but we control how we react to it.
Right.
And so once you've determined I'm going to take control of how I react, my emotional state around this issue, no matter how they come across, no matter the changes in the landscape, if, the sky starts falling and all of that, I can still control how I react to it and how I'm going to stress about it and carry that. And once you've decided you want to have a mindset shift around that so that you can still maintain your mental and physical well-being, you don't need to have a conversation with somebody else
Hmm.
to do that.
That's
And
good
so,
information.
yeah. So when I did go to therapy, that's kind of what we worked out. Like it was actually a couples therapy, my husband and I, so we could say, okay, here's the issue. Where's going to be our like happy medium? Is it a him issue? Is it me issue? Is it an us issue? And having those mindset shifts, like what if we're comfortable with living with this, or do we need to change? Does he need to change? Do I need to change? So once we found out where the change needs to happen, then we could do that for ourselves.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So
If
it's
you
a mind
need to
shift
go to
change.
therapy, it can decrease the amount of time that you're there.
Hmm,
I've
that
heard so
makes sense.
many stories, people, in therapy for years over one issue or one or two issues, still struggling to get over it. Like this is a path to move forward so that
Right.
you have an issue and, move forward. But if it's more of a stress, anxiety, or even grief, um, you don't necessarily have to go to counseling for grief. This is a path to overcome that, relieve any pain that you have, especially if you're a caretaker during that process, um, to then care for yourself. Because oftentimes, when we're caretakers for somebody that's passed or when they're passing, um, it takes a huge toll on your body.
Hmm.
Your nutrition suffers, um, physical health. Oftentimes, you're trying to pick up and move people and their, weight, and you're not physically able to because now your nutrition and your body is
Right.
suffering because of all the hours you're spending caring for them, losing sleep. Um, your body needs to also heal after that process.
Sense. And grieving isn't just losing a loved one. It could be losing your job, losing a friend, losing your relationship, breakups, all that kind of stuff. Kind of similar kind of grief takes a similar toll on you, even though, um,
Family members, I've had, um, people go through the divorce process and lose their kids through that process or not being
oh
able to see
goodness,
them.
yeah.
And that for some people is a grieving process, not being able to see their kids or if their ex leaves and goes to another state. That
Mm. Oh man, that's painful.
so there's lots of forms of grief. Like you said, it's not just somebody passing, it's you feeling emotionally disconnected from person that was in your life and you're no longer able to see them or interact with them in the way that you used to.
Mm. So for someone that doesn't know anything about somatic healing or exercise, can you explain that? Like for someone just brand new that never heard of it before.
Yeah, so somatics is a holistic process of healing where it uses breath work, meditation, and movement to heal the body. And so it's three parts. I have the three-part framework, and it doesn't take long. It's not like going to work out in terms of exercise, but it's exercises that you do, the short breath work sequence, the meditation and the movement. Movement being like more mobility, shoulder rolls, neck stretches, hip movement, but during that meditation process, using awareness, sensing your body to decide what it is your body needs in that movement. So that moment, excuse me. So not just going through the motions, okay, let me just do this, but what
Mm,
do you feel that you need at this time? What is your trigger? Where do you feel it when you think about that trigger? And what movement would be best for you to relieve the tension and the pain that you're carrying because of that stressor?
wow. I was actually picturing that as you were saying it, and I was like, okay, I can see that. I can see that. So your voice is so calm. It sounds like somebody that's doing hypnosis or just some massage or some relaxation type exercises. You definitely have the voice to fit that.
Hey,
Um, and you do hypnosis. Is this through Zoom as well, or is only in person?
yeah, I do. A lot of my work is online, but I do in-person workshops, speaking events as well. But we also have a virtual community that I started. We meet live virtually each week, and the recordings are available weekly as well. But during that session, we do the three-part framework, the breath work, movement, and meditation. It gives the group an opportunity to ask questions if they have specific concerns or things they want to work on, or a focus for that meditation. They can put it into the chat or ask the questions. We have a app where they can post their questions in advance. So it's a great opportunity to practice somatics
Hmm.
at least once a week, and then you have the tools to bring home with you to practice on your own. And you can come back and tell us how great you're doing after.
And you can do it at your desk while you're at work. Just
Yes,
taking a
definitely.
quick break and just do some exercise and relieve
Yeah,
your stress while you're sitting at your desk.
yeah, that's recommended. Like you either, you can do them first thing in the morning, and it really just depends on what you need and how your body feels. But I often like to do it in the morning. But if you're having a lot of stress during the day or a super busy day, taking that break, doing that, 90-second pause, even if it's just between meetings, or, 10 minutes if you have a little bit more time. And then it's a great wind down for the evening, preparing yourself for sleep, preparing your mind to relieve all the thoughts and worries from throughout the day, relieving tension that you're carrying, and then giving your body opportunity to rest.
Hmm. So for somebody that want to join your classes, your weekly classes, because I'm going to sign up as well. Matter of fact, I did order your book on Audible yesterday
Oh,
as well.
awesome. Thank you.
How do they sign up for your classes, and what is the fee for it?
Yeah. You can check out my website, drdaniellegriff.com. That's doctor with a DR. There's links for the virtual group coaching and joining the community. Normally it's $15 a month, but right now for our founding members, if you use the code VIP5, it's only $5 a month.
And how is it $5 a month until a certain time, or if we sign up right now, it's just $5?
It's just $5 for the life of your subscription. So as long as you stay subscribed, it's always $5. If you
Oh
can't
wow.
come back, it would be the normal price, but
Oh wow.
$5 for the life of your membership.
I'm definitely going to sign up for that because life can be stressful. I'm going to
Yeah.
tell other people about it as well
Yeah.
because, life can be
You never know
hard.
when you need it, right?
Yeah, work can be rough. Just scheduling, being a mom, being a wife, juggling the kids can be a very difficult task. So that in itself is something. So
Yeah.
before we go, tell them about your book.
Yes, I have two in the series. The series is called Somatic Exercise Made Simple. Um, the first one is kind of an introductory to somatics, a lot of different movements that you can use. The second one is what I call the mastery program. And so it goes a little bit deeper, focusing more on the meditation aspect. So you can go deeper into that, but also some really good movements, helps you come up with more of a sequence for your holistic healing. Um, Both have bonus videos, so all those videos are available to you once you pick up the book. And then the second book also has the bonus meditations. So you get
Okay.
my voice, my hypnotic meditations. And then I also, I've recorded all the videos.
Oh,
I
cool.
a certified yoga instructor, so you'll get all the alignment cues and modifications and all that, just like if I was in your living room with you.
Oh, pretty cool. And so that's the same place they find the courses. They can find the book as well. I know it's on Amazon.
Yeah, it's on Amazon. I also have links on my website for the books. Yeah.
Okay. So one last question before we go. Are people able to hypnotize themselves, or they have to actually have it done by someone?
There is self-hypnosis, so you can like before you practice, set your intention. But if you're not a skilled practitioner, it's best to have somebody else do
Okay.
it.
I just
It's
wanted to.
more challenging. In general, a lot of people feel like, oh, I have a hard time meditating. I have a hard time focusing. If you already struggle with just general meditation, then you'll probably struggle with self-hypnosis as well.
ha- have you done your own self hip? Well, you know what I'm saying.
I do, but I also prefer when somebody else does it. It
Oh, okay.
a much more lasting effect. And plus, you can have a conversation prior,
Hmm.
about what your needs are, and they can really guide the session. So, um, it's much more impactful when, in my opinion, when it's led by somebody else.
Okay. So your services and your book and all the tools that you give and techniques, um, for someone that's been struggling for a while, it helps change your mindset and helps you get back going. What is the percentage rate as far as your success rate with that?
Yeah. So, my clients that have worked with me, within 3 weeks, they feel a 67% reduction in their overall stress. And so, like I said, I've designed the 28-day program, which is essentially 4 weeks. So you can imagine by the end of the 4 weeks how how you
Wow.
so
67%, guys. 67%
yes.
change and feeling better in just 3 weeks. So that's great. That's why
And
I immediately got the book. I'm going to start my process since this is the first of the month starting Saturday. I'm going
yeah,
to start right at the beginning and
definitely.
start using and I'm going to keep you updated on how it goes. And also sign up for your weekly class because I'm going to recommend that because we need it, especially as women. I know men probably need it too, but us women, gosh, we go through so much being a mom, a wife, even a
Yes.
single parent, just so much as women that we go through. Postpartum, postpartum, perimenopause. I'm pretty sure it's a lot of women probably contact you because they're going through that as well. So yeah, so definitely sign up. Well, we're gonna get out of here. Thank you so much for tuning back in and joining me here on the Boss Women Network podcast. If before we go, is there anything that you would want to say to inspire some young girl to go after their dreams, or if she may be even interested in doing what you're doing?
Yeah, just remember that you're in control. Whatever you want, you can have it. Just set your mind, stay consistent, and don't let anybody, external factors, stray you.
That's it. Then there it is. That's a message from Dr. Griff, y'all. All right. Well, thank you for joining me today. Thank y'all for tuning in to the Boss Women Network and have a great day. Until next time. Thank you for joining me, Dr. Griff.
Thanks.
Bye. Enjoy your evening.
You too.